Hi everyone. Again, thank you for joining me on this live update. I hope there is sound now. I'm Lada from Astrolada.com, and this is your weekly horoscope for the week from the 12th to the 18th of June. And I'm gonna walk you what the week is holding. There are no life-shattering events happening astrologically this week, but this week will bring some positive things to some of you, to certain signs, and to other signs it will be a bit more challenging. And I'll try to warn you what it is so you're prepared. And of course, that's what astrology is for. So it can help us and help us go with the flow. And I'll go through different signs through the week, how it's going to progress. And just don't forget that we continue with our foundational course, the 12 signs of astrology. And this Sunday, I'm doing Gemini. In a couple of weeks, all about Cancer. And you can find out more. There is a link to my courses below. Even if you've missed the previous courses, there is still about 30% discount. And you can watch them all, and you can study astrology from the beginning with me. And we'll continue like that for possibly, many years to learn astrology. And at the end of this, I'm going to ask you a question, guys. So if you bear with me and have some patience till the end, I would like your opinion on something. And so now let's start with the weekly horoscope. Generally, first, to say that, yes, there will be some difficult aspects this week. I would warn you for them, but I want to make a point that overall, the influence, the energy astrologically is quite easy and positive. And it will stay like that for a while because finally Jupiter started moving direct, and you'll probably only start feeling that gradually from this week. And still Jupiter stays on the 13th degree till the end of this month, but you start feeling that a lot of activities connected to Jupiter are starting to become easier and to give results and to start bringing new opportunities. And this means legal matters, matters about travel, about some foreign matters of foreign or higher education, international trade, anything to do with passing borders with foreign countries, communicating with people in different hierarchical states than you, different hierarchies, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a boss, connected to anything to do with Jupiter rules wealth. So for many people, it can even have a positive impact on finances in some way. And Jupiter starts bringing new opportunities when it's moving directly. So just to tell you, and there are no other planets except Saturn moving retrograde. I'm talking from the 7 traditional planets. That means that usually things start happening according to our expectations. And there are no curveballs and surprises that get thrown to us by the retrograde planets. And if there was some complications, now Jupiter starting to move direct, we'll start to untangle them. If you want to know specifically what area of your life will be affected, watch out the previous week, horoscope that I speak specifically how Jupiter retrograde will affect every sign. And of course, Libras will start benefiting from this a lot more because Jupiter is in their sign. But Libras, don't forget that Jupiter is still making oppositions and squares with Uranus and Pluto. So the changes and opportunities that have been coming to you, Libras, and that will come to you, will be accompanied by those of surprise, by those of a little bit of a crisis. But the ultimate result will be positive. Again, don't forget that. Okay, so now let's see how this week starts very good. This week starts the Monday and Tuesday, 12th and 13th of June, starts with the Mercury trine Jupiter. Mercury, and who's going to feel this? Especially strongly, all the air signs will feel it. So if you have Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, but also people that have Jupiter in their horoscope, that are ruled by Jupiter, like Sagittarius and Pisces, and people that are ruled by Mercury, Gemini and Virgo, will feel it the most. Of course, this aspect is active for everyone, but those signs have a bit more affinity because these 2 planets rule them, and it's happening in those signs. So on Monday and Tuesday, these are good days for anything to do with arranging certain documents, with signing some papers, with some negotiations, with important conversations. Mercury rules all those things, and being in a good aspect with Jupiter, the planet of opportunities, of growth, of smooth tidings, of smooth developments, anything to do with Mercury, whether it's travel, whether it's arranging of documents, whether it's some negotiations and conversations, whether it's social time with friends. Mercury rules that as well. Whether it's anything to do with your work, because Mercury rules work that is connected to thinking, whether it's writing, speaking, thinking, negotiating, whether it's marketing, advertising, administrative work, documents of any sort, emails, social media, internet, all those things tend to be much better on Monday and Tuesday, because Mercury receives this very supportive aspect from Jupiter. And anything to do with social activities, communications, because they're happening in air signs, the trine will be supported for everyone. And also one tends to feel more optimistic. Mercury is the mind. Jupiter sending a helpful aspect makes you feel optimistic, gives you kind of balanced thinking, improved communication skills. It's good for group activities, small groups, for example. It's good for activities with your neighbors, with your siblings, for improving relationships with them as well. For any communication and group work, favorable for travel, the two planets of movement and travel in a good aspect. And then it's excellent for any intellectual pursuits, for business as well, legal matters, proposals. But that kind of continues only on Monday and Tuesday. So if you have any such activities, guys, to do it then. Because on the next day, on the 14th of June, Mercury square, right after it makes the trine to Jupiter, square Neptune. And this is a warning, because you have to pay attention to details on that day. Even on the following day, 14th and 15th, I think you're protected from mistakes on the 13th, because Jupiter is in trine with Mercury. But then straight after that, it makes a square to Neptune. And how it can play out is that you feel overly optimistic on one day. Something comes as a good news, as good opportunity, something flows, but maybe you are overly positive, because Neptune also makes us miss details when it squares Mercury, the planet of thinking. It makes us think, maybe overly see things not in a realistic light somehow. So we're much more susceptible to being misled by someone, whether on purpose or by mistake. Someone might overpromise something, or we might overpromise, especially if your Mercury ruled Gemini and Virgos. You be careful, Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or Virgo Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, that you don't overpromise to someone, that you don't say things that you have no way of making happen after that, or misleading someone by mistake. Or if you're susceptible to trickery already, you might be much more willing to say a white or not so white light. But who would feel it the most? I said Gemini, Virgos, Pisces, and Sagittarius will also feel it more, because it's happening, this difficult aspect, in the mutable signs. But it's a warning for all the signs nonetheless, because it's happening universally for everyone. So you have to be careful with attention to detail on the 14th, 15th of June. You have to be, there's higher risk regarding mistakes, miscommunications. Mercury is communication, Neptune is about making mistakes, mishearing or gossiping, saying something behind someone's back, because Neptune is a bit hidden. So it might be happening to you. It's more likely either to you or someone to be doing it for you, and promising things you cannot deliver as well, or saying things that you cannot back up, or others doing the same to you. So be careful. If people promise, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that, ask them, can you back up those things? Or don't get overly excited before you check your facts. And don't go signing contracts on that day, because there will be something you're missing, you're not fully reading. Don't go making promises around that day as well, because they might be overly expanded promises. And also be careful if there is any some people are susceptible to being swindled in some way, so especially with words, or with communication, with written stuff. So be careful around those days, the 3rd, the 14th, the 15th, but there is good news as well, because such mistakes that were made will quickly be corrected, because by the end of the week, Mercury makes an opposition to Saturn, and Saturn is the corrective planet, the one that shows us mistakes that we've made. So it's kind of, even if someone overpromised or or you made some mistake, you omitted something, you missed something, there was some miscommunication, it will come to the surface very quickly. Don't give your passwords and stuff like that on the middle of the week, or even answering emails, they might be misunderstood somehow. It doesn't mean don't answer emails, but just be careful. Something might get lost in your junk email. That's the smallest manifestation of Mercury, Neptune. But by the end of the week, you will become aware what the problem is, because Saturn is making opposition to Mercury. You might beat yourself a bit about that and say, how can I be so silly? Or someone can point it out to you because it's an opposition. It means someone else. Opposition means relationships with others. Someone else points out a mistake to you, some omission to you, or you might be the one in kind of a more some kind of a more judgmental state of mind or corrective state of mind to others younger than you. Because Mercury rules younger people, Saturn rules older authority people. Either your inner authority will show you or some authority figure will show you a mistake you made, or someone older, or you might be Saturn and you might find some mistakes for someone that made, someone less experienced in the face of Mercury or younger, and point out to them, or someone more frivolous, more who doesn't pay so much attention, and point it out to them in some way. But there's a little bit of a, towards the end of the week, yes, Saturn corrects Mercury. It deepens the mind as well, which is great towards the end of the week. In the middle of the week, your mind might become a bit like distracted, on the 14th, on 15th, because of Neptune. And then you focus it and you gather your thoughts back again towards the end of the week. But what is this good for Mercury square Neptune on Tuesday and Wednesday? Well, it has a good side as well. People that are in creative fields, people that are in imaginative fields, people that have to that spin tales, that tell stories, they become more magnetic, more magical. People that are in careers that they have to say advertising or photography, even though it's a difficult aspect, Neptune is their planet. It stimulates them to create a more beautiful story, to create more beautiful images. So that can be good for such things, or some spiritual talks or reading on spiritual matters. So this is something that you can benefit from, the difficult aspect. And communication also becomes more emotional. It's a bit more slanted, a bit more skewed with this aspect. Then on the 15th of June, guys, and you will probably feel it from the 14th, because when an aspect is as they say, forming just now, you feel it stronger than when it's falling apart. Just like when a plane is coming towards you, you're feeling the sound much longer than the moment it passes you. After that, very quickly the sound disappears. So the same way usually planets are felt more when the aspect is forming, but around the 14th, 15th, 16th of June, there is a difficult aspect happening, another one. The Sun is opposition with Saturn. And who feels it the most? Well, it's happening in the signs, in the mutable signs. So Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius feel this most. Also, Aquarius feels it, because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So does Capricorn. Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn. So does Leo, because the Sun rules Leo. So those signs feel this opposition the most. But it's felt universally as well by everyone. Okay, what to be careful. Both the Sun and Saturn represent authority figures. And this can indicate that there is encountering opposition because of an opposite aspect with some kind of authority. Maybe possible clashes with authority. Don't confront your boss in the middle of the week. Don't confront people with more power, government or whatever than you. Because there is the difficult aspect indicates that the outcome will not be so easy. There will be, both sides will be holding on to their sides, and there won't be some easy compromise happening, Also, it might require, because the Sun rules, and Sun rules career and your goals, Saturn rules hard work, that you're put under pressure to deliver something with a deadline, that you're given more duties and responsibility in some way, and that's good for it. This aspect between Sun and Saturn on the 14th, 15th, and 16th can promote perseverance, self-discipline, working harder, putting more hours in, working hard under pressure. It's good for it. So you can get a lot of things done in regards to your goals, but you can feel under pressure, and you can feel kind of in a serious state of mind, which is great. Or some authority figure can point out to you something that you're not doing right. The Sun is our actions and activities, because the masculine active planet, and Saturn is the teacher, like, oh, this is not good. Maybe you'll be the one that is hard on yourself, but usually the opposition is someone else points it out to you, and someone gives you pressure, someone gives you some more negative, more critical feedback. And again, if we don't have those moments, we'll be assholes that are full of themselves, So we totally do need to get humbled a little bit, and it's only for 2-3 days, so don't worry. And stay humble around that day with Saturn opposition Sun, because people tend to also get a little bit more frustrated. But you might also feel a little bit more inhibited, a bit withdrawn. There might be certain limitations and obstacles that things happen a little bit with more difficulty, and you can encounter opposition or lack of support from others. It's not something that will ruin your life. It's just a couple of days influence. Just remember what I've said, and don't go into drama mode, and when it comes, you're like, oh, okay, it's gonna pass very soon. And don't overreact. That's important for it. Be patient. Saturn wants us to teach patience. It's maybe not the best time for social activities, unless they're for business or work. And you might feel a little bit less energy, a little bit more sad, a little bit more serious. This is what Saturn tends to give us as a mood. But right after that, again, by the end of the week, the Sun makes a good aspect to Uranus, and the mood lifts up. So Sunday becomes a much better day. I think that's the Father's Day, and by that day, and already on the 17th and on the 18th, the Sun is making this good aspect to Uranus. So our mood improves, vitality comes back. Aries feel this because Uranus is in Aries. Gemini feel this because the Sun is in Gemini. Leo feels that because the Sun rules them. Aquarius rules that because Uranus rules them. But all other people also experience a little bit of that. And it's a great desirable routine from break from routines, because Uranus gives this excitable element. It's a very gentle aspect, but it brings a bit of excitability. And the Sun rules fathers, and Uranus is doing something more spontaneous, more fun, something social. Uranus is a social planet. So it will be a great day on Father's Day for fathers. And you can feel a bit more inspired as well. But on the same day as well, Mercury is making an opposition to Saturn. So it also can be a time for serious conversation. And especially on the 17th, Saturday, Sunday, as I said, this Mercury opposition Saturn can point out some mistakes or some over-exaggerated expectations that you had. It can point them out and kind of put you in a more humbled state as well, and point out those mistakes to you. And it can also create, you can create some mistake connected to communication, writing, admin work, plans, management. You'd also have a little bit more when it comes to your state of mind will become more focused. And we said at the beginning of the video, we talked how this, some of the wrong expectations or some of the unclear things that happen in the middle of the week with the Mercury square Neptune. Well, that's about it this week, guys. Just don't forget Jupiter is starting to move direct. Overall, good news. Don't forget that also we have Venus in its own sign, so Taurus will benefit a lot from that. Venus is in their sign. Anyone with Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Taurus is being helped by Venus. Is being things are eased for them. There is more pleasure. There is more love. There is more expression of appreciation, and things are moving more smoothly for them. Okay, and maybe Cancers and the other cardinal signs like Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra have to be a bit more cautious, because Mars, the planet of arguments and strife, is in their sign, especially those that are born a bit earlier. I think Mars is what degrees it is. I can't see right now, but yeah, sorry, because I closed my tables. But they have to be a little bit, because they'll feel a little bit more agitated, a little bit more driven to make changes, but at the same time more emotionally reactive, because Mars is in the emotionally reactive sign of Cancer. People get more moody as well a little bit. especially, you know, if you're Aries or if you're Scorpio that are ruled by Mars, you can feel that either you or others react to you in a more moody way, in a more emotional way, you know. So just remember that and don't make a big deal out of it. And that you'll be also taking things more personally as well. It hurts, like, you know, it's more like touches your heart. Cancer is like, oh, you feel it here. Anyway, so I said, guys, that I want to ask you a question, but I want only those that are very serious to answer. I'm thinking of organizing my first retreat in Hawaii in November, the end of November, or maybe December. And I wanted to ask, you can write below here on the comments, only if you're serious though. If I want to see how much interest there will be. And if there is enough interest, I'll organize a great, a weekend event, basically. Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, or maybe Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you know. And it's gonna be kind of, it's gonna be very, I want to make it very affordable. I want to make it so everyone can come, and everyone has to cover their own, who is interested, so they can cover their own expenses. So the event, I'll try to make it as cheap as possible, but I want to see how many people will be interested. And in the evenings, we'll go to Little Beach, if you know what I mean, and do barbecues and stuff like that. It'll be very casual, easygoing, nothing, you know, structured. I just to get to know, to talk, you know, and I have great topics prepared, but I just wanted to throw out this idea. And only those of you who are very serious, guys, say that you very likely will come. And if I can get more than 20 people, then it's worth organizing. Otherwise, you know, otherwise I'll do it somewhere else at a different time of the year. But if, yeah, so I'm just throwing this idea out. And if I see interest, guys, I'll promise you a great experience. Very casual, very hippie, very fun, and hopefully very affordable as well. So thank you so much. And check out my courses. Caroline is making a Tarot Mastercard class. Those of you who want to learn Tarot, well, that's the best place to learn it. For such courses, also check out a new webinar with Nicola is coming. It will be on bad aspects and how to, what to do with them. You know, if there is an indication that you can have a divorce in your horoscope, or that this country will be bad for you, or this marriage will be bad for you, how to remedy it. So we'll speak about that a bit on Tuesday. So thank you so much, guys, and I will see you next week. And thank you for your comments for the webinar. Sorry, for the retreat. If we're gonna do that, I'm looking forward to see what you're thinking, and if you're interested in that. I love you all. Bye bye.